Don't worry about the future, or worry, but know that worrying is just as effective as trying to solve an algebra equation by chewing bubblegum. The real troubles in your life are apt to be the things that never crossed your worried mind, the kind that blindsides you on 4 p.m. on some idle Tuesday. This bit of wise wisdom comes from a speech by Baz Luhrmann. In life, there are many opportunities for people with wise words of wisdom to impact countless lives with a speech. There's funerals, weddings, presidential inaugurations, and at last, graduations. A graduation is a pivotal moment in the lives of many people. Not just the young about to graduate, but the teachers, the family members, and every single person who helped to graduate get to where they are that day. Baz Luhrmann recorded a perfect commencement speech, one that would benefit any set of years it fell upon. The first time I heard this speech, I thought that it was indeed a real commencement speech given to the graduating class of 1999. However, through research for my own speech, I discovered the truth behind this spoken word hit single that touched my life when I was a much younger and more impressionable teenager. The speech, entitled "Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen," has survived the test of time and proved to be just as valuable now as it was 15 years ago. Baz transformed the timeless words originally wrote for a column in the Chicago Tribune into a spoken word hit single that will continue to inspire people generation after generation. Mark Anthony Luhrmann is an Australian film director, screenwriter, and producer, and actor. He was born in Sydney, Australia on September 17, 1962, and he's remained in Australia since and has become very successful. Baz got the nickname from his father, and he legally changed his name to that in 1980. He is best known for the 5 films that he's directed: Strictly Ballroom in 1992, Romeo and Juliet in 1996, Moulin Rouge in 2001. The 3 of these make up the Red Curtain trilogy, which he's most famous for. Australia in 2008, Great Gatsby in 2013. His most successful movie to date is Moulin Rouge. And although I've never seen any of his movies, he has produced a piece of work that I am very familiar with, which is his speech, "Everybody's Free to Wear Sunscreen." First of all, it's important for you to know that the words used in their entirety in his spoken word hit single were actually written by Mary Smith. On June 1st, 1997, in her article titled "Advice Like the Youth, Probably Wasted on the Young," Mary Smith wrote, and I quote, "Inside every adult lurks a graduation speaker, dying to get out, some world-weary pundit eager to pontificate on life to young people who'd rather be rollerblading. Most of us, at last, will never be invited to sow our words of wisdom among an audience of caps and gowns, but there's no reason we can't entertain ourselves by composing a guide to life for graduates." This article, after being published, circulated as an internet sensation with the false claims that it was a speech provided at MIT by an author called Kurt Vonnegut. While Kurt never gave this commencement speech, he never used it in any way at all, the mishap and his name being entitled to it is what's responsible for it landing in Baz's hands. Baz went to contact Kurt for the permission to use all of the words in a single, and while he was searching for his contact information, discovered that Mary was actually the true author. With Mary's permission, Baz recorded the hit single the next day. And as these words do not originate from Baz, he's given credit here because he made them into a speech. He took the words from paper and brought them to life. Many great speakers today and always have had someone else write their speeches for him, so I guess I just consider Mary the person who did that for Baz. If Baz hadn't taken the words and made them something audible, would they really have reached the masses or survived as long as they have? I really don't think so. The term "wear sunscreen" is spoken at the beginning and the end of the speech. And while they'll never lose their worth, they're definitely familiar to young people from the 1990s because this is when researchers really narrowed down the ingredients needed in sunscreen and the importance of protecting our very fragile exterior from the sun. Mary nor Baz were probably ever invited to give an actual commencement speech, but the words were definitely shared with young people and indeed graduates over the years for nearly 20 years now. The first time I heard this speech was in 2011, 12 years after the release of the single. And it was just a few months before my own graduation. As I was working in a coffee shop, it somehow stumbled on my iPod. I became obsessed with it. I shared it with one of my best friends who happened to be the valedictorian of a class, and it was played in its entirety in her graduation ceremony. While the graduating class may have only been about 100 people, it definitely reached every single one in the room. In the same effortless way that the speech captured me, it captured the whole graduating class, and without a doubt, countless others over the years in this very same way. OpenCulture.com on November 11, 2013 stated that Baz's unexpected big single reached number 45 on the Billboard Hot 100s in the United States and number 1 in the UK. Now, 20 years later, this is still circulating, and it's impossible to count all of the people that it's inspired and impacted over the years. This speech promotes betterment of society by encouraging people to take care of themselves, to value their families and just people in general, and it also brings to light issues that all generations of people will face while inspiring and encouraging young people as they're about to step through the doorway of adulthood. Self-care is promoted in this speech by reminding people to floss or stretch or not worry too much or wear sunscreen. Baz talks about the importance of siblings now and in the future. He emphasizes the necessity of getting to know your parents and respecting your elders. Baz instructs the audience to enjoy the power and beauty of their youth while acknowledging that they won't be able to truly do this until both of which have faded away. Our youth are the future of our communities and our society. While these words are timeless and true, they really provide a way to give youth a little life guidebook as they're about to graduate. Graduation is a time with so much uncertainty and unknown. Baz's calm, smooth voice, playing over a nice melody, removes the gloom over not knowing exactly what you want to do the second you graduate, or reminds you that it's okay if you don't know what you're going to do 20 years from then. Every graduating class since 1999 and those yet to come are filled with young people about to take a step into the unknown. Everybody's free to wear sunscreen provides them with invaluable life advice that will inspire and encourage them to put their best foot forward while doing so. This speech may not be as well known as other speeches of our time, but it definitely has something to offer everyone. Whether you're a young person about to graduate or someone just needing a little pick-me-up or some inspiration, I encourage you to listen to it. I still do from time to time while I'm on a long drive or just in the morning, and it never fails to leave me feeling encouraged or to tackle whatever's going to come my way. In closing, I quote the words of Baz Luhrmann's single, "Accept certain inalienable truths. Prices will rise, politicians will philander, you too will get old. And when you do, you'll fantasize that when you were young, prices were reasonable, politicians were noble, and children respected their elders. Respect your elders. Don't expect anyone else to support you. You may have a trust fund, you may have a wealthy spouse, but you never know when either might run out. Don't mess with your hair too much, or by the time you're 40, it'll look 85. Be careful whose advice you buy, but be patient with those who supply it. Advice is a form of nostalgia. Dispensing it is a way of fishing out the past from the disposal, wiping it off, painting over the ugly parts, and recycling it for more than it's worth. But trust me on the sunscreen."